The world outside Amara's childhood home felt too still for the storm raging in her chest. She sat curled up in an old armchair that once belonged to her late mother, the same one where countless bedtime stories were read, where laughter and comfort had been shared, and where now she sat drowning in the weight of loss. It had only been 7 days since she buried her mother, yet time seemed meaningless, seconds and hours blurred together, and everything felt cold, quiet, and wrong. The scent of lavender, her mother's favorite perfume, still lingered faintly on the cushions, filling the empty space with bittersweet memories. The air was heavy with silence, a silence that screamed louder than any noise she had ever known. In her trembling hands, Amara held a small envelope. Its paper was slightly yellowed with age, tied delicately with a silk ribbon, and her name was written across it in elegant cursive. She traced the familiar loops of her mother's handwriting with her fingertips, her heart pounding. She had been putting off opening it since she'd found it in her mother's dresser. This letter, she knew, would be the last time she'd hear her mother's words. It was as if opening it would finalize her mother's absence, confirming what she desperately wished were only a nightmare. After a deep breath that quivered with grief, she untied the ribbon and unfolded the paper. Her mother's handwriting danced across the page, graceful yet filled with emotion. "My dearest Amara, if you are reading this, I am no longer by your side. I hope that doesn't make you close this letter, because I need you to hear me one last time. I need you to know that I am so proud of you, not for what you have accomplished in life, but for who you are. You are my heart walking outside of my body. From the moment I held you, I knew my life's purpose was to love you, to guide you, and to give you strength. I know life feels impossible without me. I know there will be nights when you cry yourself to sleep, mornings when getting out of bed feels like an impossible task, and moments when you'll reach for the phone to call me only to remember I'm gone. But listen to me, my sweet girl, grief is not a prison. It is a doorway to love. The deeper you grieve, the more proof it is of how deeply you were loved and how deeply you loved me in return. That love is eternal, Amara. It will carry you through every dark night and lead you to mornings filled with light. I want you to live, not just survive. I want you to chase dreams so wild they scare you, to love so deeply it makes your heart ache, to forgive quickly, and to laugh until your stomach hurts. That's all I've ever wanted for you, a life full of love and meaning. I've left something for you. There's a wooden box in the attic, under the old quilt. Inside it, you'll find pieces of my heart, letters I wrote for you at different stages of your life, photos, and keepsakes I saved for the day you'd need me most. When you feel lost, go to that box. Let it remind you that no matter how far I am always with you. You are my greatest blessing, my proudest accomplishment, and my eternal joy. Carry me with you always, and remember, love is stronger than death. With all my love, Mom." The letter slipped from Amara's shaking hands, landing softly in her lap as tears spilled down her cheeks. She pressed her face into her hands, sobbing the kind of sob that seemed to tear her soul apart. It wasn't just sadness, it was longing, regret, and a pain that reached every corner of her heart. This was the woman who had been her home, her safe place, her anchor in life's storms. And now, all she had left of her were memories and this letter. For hours, Amara sat in that armchair, reading the letter over and over, as if memorizing. Every curve of her mother's handwriting could bring her back. When her sobs finally quieted into soft whimpers, she wiped her tears and made her way up the narrow attic stairs. The attic was just as she remembered it, dusty, dimly lit, filled with old furniture and forgotten treasures from childhood. Cobwebs clung to the corners, and dust floated through the air like tiny stars as she pulled the chain of a single light bulb. Her heart raced when she spotted the quilt her mother had mentioned. She knelt down, pushed it aside, and found the wooden box. Her fingers traced its edges, and when she opened it, the scent of lavender greeted her again, as if her mother's spirit lived inside that box. Inside were envelopes neatly stacked and labeled, "For your graduation, for your wedding day, for when you become a mother, for when you feel like giving up." Amara's tears fell freely as she touched each letter. There were also old photographs, a lock of her baby hair tied with ribbon, and a tiny sweater her mother had knitted for her when she was born. Every item was a piece of her mother's heart, a physical reminder of love that transcended time. That night, she sat in the attic, surrounded by memories, reading one letter after another. Hours passed, but she didn't notice the time. Each word was like a lifeline, pulling her back from the depths of despair. She could almost hear her mother's voice in the room, warm and comforting, as if she were sitting right beside her. The pain didn't vanish, but something shifted. Her grief felt different, not lighter, but softer, like the edges of a sharp blade that had dulled over time. In the weeks that followed, Amara began revisiting all the places her mother loved. She walked through the fields of golden wheat behind their house, feeling the wind in her hair the way her mother used to love. She started cooking her mother's favorite recipes, playing her favorite songs on the old record player, and lighting lavender candles in the evenings. It became her way of keeping her mother's memory alive. Months later, Amara sat under the oak tree in the backyard, the same tree where she used to play as a child. In her hands, she held a letter labeled, "When You Fall in Love." Her heart raced as she read it. "My darling Amara, love will come into your life like a soft whisper. At first, you may not notice it, but it will grow quietly, patiently, until it fills your heart. When you find it, hold it gently. Love is the most fragile and the most powerful thing you will ever experience. Do not fear heartbreak, my love. Heartbreak means you dared to love deeply, and that is a life well lived. Always choose love, even when it scares you. Mom." Amara wiped her tears as she folded the letter, her heart aching yet hopeful. As if on cue, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned to see Ethan, her childhood friend, carrying a steaming cup of tea. He had been by her side through every tear-filled night and every quiet morning. "You've been out here a while," he said gently, handing her the cup. "I was reading Mom's letters," she whispered, her voice cracking. Ethan sat down beside her, his hand brushing against hers. "She'd be so proud of you. She always believed you'd do something amazing." Amara leaned against his shoulder, feeling his warmth, and for the first time since her mother's passing, she felt a spark of hope, a flicker of light in the darkness. Years passed, and Amara blossomed into the woman her mother had always dreamed she'd become. She pursued her passion for writing, pouring her grief and love into words that resonated with thousands of readers. Her stories became a beacon for those who had lost loved ones, proving that even in the darkest pain, there is light. When Ethan proposed to her, she went back to the attic and found the letter labeled, "For your wedding day." "My beautiful Amara, if you're reading this, you've found someone who loves you for all that you are and all that you're not. I may not be there to see you in your dress, but I hope you feel me with you as you walk down the aisle. You are the most beautiful thing I ever created, and I know your heart will lead you to happiness. May your marriage be filled with kindness, patience, and laughter. And when you hold your first child, I hope you'll see a glimpse of me in their eyes. With all my love, Mom." On her wedding day, Amara carried that letter with her, tucked close to her heart. She felt her mother's spirit in every step she took down the aisle, in every tear of joy, and every laugh shared. Years later, when she cradled her own baby girl in her arms, she named her Lily, after her mother's favorite flower. As she rocked her daughter to sleep, she whispered, "You'll know your grandma through my stories, sweetheart. She may not be here, but her love will always be with us." Amara turned her mother's letters into a book, weaving her own journey of healing into its pages. The book became a worldwide sensation, helping countless people navigate their own grief and loss. Letters poured in from strangers, telling her how her story had saved them, how her mother's words had touched hearts across oceans. On the anniversary of her mother's passing, Amara visited her grave with Ethan and Lily. She knelt, placing lilies on the headstone, and whispered, "I did it, Mom. I'm living, I'm loving, and I'm keeping your light alive." A gentle breeze rustled through the trees, and for a moment, Amara swore she felt her mother's hand on her shoulder. Tears streamed down her face, but she was smiling. Because she finally understood, love never dies. It changes form, but it stays with us, carried in every heartbeat, every story, and every act of kindness passed down through generations. And as Amara walked away, hand in hand with Ethan and little Lily toddling beside her, she knew her mother's spirit would always walk with them too.